Did you get any notifications?
From?
Well, if you're subscribed to my channel, you would know.
I am subscribed to your channel.
Do you have it set to all?
Hell no. But I see it. I see it on.
Yeah. You like the little background there?
Yeah, no, that's dope. I probably would have put my my avatar a little lower so it didn't just cut off, but it is what it is.
Alrighty. I'll have the music just a little bit lower. Alrighty. So, yo, what's up, guys? Just setting up some stuff a little bit.
Alright, we're live now, right?
Yeah, we've been live for like a minute or so.
Alright.
I sent you that link, by the way, so that you can advertise in your server.
Yep, doing that now. I'll put in the pins as well.
Yo, what's going on, Lucids? What's going on, Chicken Status?
By the way, what are the guidelines for, like, cursing for streaming? Maybe I'll need to
try to keep it as light as we can.
For sure. Okay. That's what I figured, so.
Yeah. I mean, generally, I think it should be fine. But we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Do you have all the links and stuff as well that we're gonna react to?
Why did it say that the max stream quality is 4? What? How do I don't know why.
That it's what?
For some reason, Nate said that the max stream quality is at 480.
I don't know. Nate, do better.
That's weird. Let's see. What song is this? Our good old buddy Nate, who's currently one of the mods in our chat, I asked him to make a remix of Inferno.
Yeah, which is the first Fire Force intro.
Yeah.
He did a great job. That shit sounds good.
Yeah. I'm currently having it being played over while we're doing stuff.
Oh, you have it on a loop?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What video game is your go-to, boys? Skyrim.
Yeah.
I play way too much Skyrim.
I don't know why
Preston says Fire Force still mid, though.
Nah,
Everybody send an L to Preston, or just put L Preston.
That's an L take right there.
That's an L take. Kosu partner with our Dola server. We hit 1K members. I'll think about it. Scale Skyrim. Dude, I would love to, but there's so much lore, and then I have to like go and play Oblivion and like Morrowind, and I'm just like, I really don't want to do all that. Yeah, L Preston. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we're still sending some stuff up, and we're just kind of like giving people some chance to join the stream before we officially start.
Yeah. Arthur scale. We're working on it. Yeah. It'll come out at some point. Had Fire Force on the back burner for over a year. Oh man. Nah, bro, you gotta prioritize that one.
Where's Hunter x Hunter at? Fire Force still good though? No. Like, you cannot compare Hunter x Hunter to freaking Fire Force, man. Like, I'm sorry. You need. If Hunter x Hunter is your favorite show, you need to like find something better to watch.
Yeah.
As much as I like Hunter x Hunter, it's not. I don't know how you can consider that your favorite show.
Do you think Naruto has uni stuff or above? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you look really deep into my TikTok, you'll find my videos that advocated for uni Naruto.
Yeah. So Fire Force is worth watching, y'all think? Oh yeah, it's currently my favorite series at the moment. That's why I'm deciding to make content about it pretty soon.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I'm going to be talking about Fire Force at all, I gotta bring on the guy that's known for talking about Fire Force on TikTok, that we've been in like cahoots for like the past like few months. So.
Yeah. Also, if you guys do decide to watch Fire Force or read Fire Force, like, don't just stop at the first part. Like, I would say the first episode's really good. I got hooked in on the first episode, but like a lot of people don't watch it past the first episode, which is kind of just, I don't know.
Is Fire Force better than Naruto writing wise? I would say so. The ending, I guess what you can say is like what's considered like the Adola arc is almost like Naruto's war arc if it was like 10 times better, and the ending was the ending was cracked, like absolutely cracked.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Naruto. I love it as a series. Like, it's still my second favorite anime of all time.
Yeah.
Writing wise, like, I'd actually have to sit and think about that. Like, there are a lot of aspects about Naruto that I really, really like. It definitely dragged a bit, like in certain cases. Whereas, like in Fire Force, there's rarely ever times that like the story will drag.
Alrighty, Kosu. So I feel like we've given them enough time. So
yeah.
Just summarize it for everybody. What we plan on doing is, before the stream, we asked quite a sum of people to send us videos to react to on the stream, whether it be from TikTok or from YouTube or whatever. And let's see. Oh, Nate. the music now. Okay. But yeah, so we had people send us some videos to watch in regards to Fire Force. And mainly ones that seem to just horrendously downplay the entire series, or just Shinra in general. We're mainly going to be talking about Shinra, because obviously he's the MC of the verse, and the strongest in the verse, when you get down to it. And also, for those, obviously, spoiler warning ahead, like, unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about stuff that only has occurred in the manga, especially when we get to what Shinra does later on, and how Shinra scales when he gets it, like, this new transformation, essentially. So, if you do not want any spoilers, I would suggest leaving the stream now, go read the manga, but if you don't, feel free to stick around. If you don't care about spoilers, then all the power to you. Just know this is where you're getting into.
Yeah.
Alright. So, the one that's been sent to us most often was this dude.
Yeah.
And here I'm gonna...
Apparently, he, like, mentions me or something in the video, from what I've heard.
Yep. Alright.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I don't know if I can...
Alright,
Okay, there we go. So...
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, one more thing I want to preface before we start getting into all of these videos. Very, very important. I'm even going to do a video about regarding it very soon. We are not judging the people or where the arguments come from. Alright? We're not going to be making fun of this guy for having these takes, right? We're mainly just going to be attacking the arguments. Like, it doesn't matter where the arguments come from, right? That's completely irrelevant. Okay? Because we're not trying to make fun of this guy or his intelligence or whatever. I mean, we might be, but we're just going to be looking at what he says as an argument. It's like, obviously, I would tell people, for instance, they shouldn't, like, go to Versus Battle Wiki, for instance, but there are some stuff that's good on Versus Battle as well. So, for instance, if you were to, because someone was trying to, we don't want to basically pull a genetic fallacy, and we don't want people to just all of a sudden discredit this guy because of what he often says sometimes. It's like, oh, well, he thinks this way, so he's dumb. We should just discredit anything he says in this video. And sometimes Kosu has gotten that kind of, like, shit thrown at him as well. And
yeah,
it's better to hear out what he has to say, they have to say first, and actually, like, critique the arguments first.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, like, whenever someone actually makes an argument or, like, is articulating some sort of scale, like, hear everything out and do, like, your own research. You know, don't just blindly believe people. Like, even with us, like, everything that we're going to explain to, like, just, you know, if you feel like something's questionable whatsoever, you know, just look it up. You know, do what you can to make sure it makes sense to you.
Yep. Alrighty. So, without further ado, we're gonna listen to this dude and what he has to say about Shinra and the Shinra debunk.
Yeah.
Shinra Bancho Man. Is he outer? Let's dive in. So Shinra has been getting a lot of...
And...
Oh, hey.
Right up...
me.
Oh, look at that.
Hello.
Look who it is.
Yeah.
It's the Kosu man.
Yeah, pretty looking
probably
thing.
not as much now. I think I'm a little late to the party, but I'm still going to talk about this because I've been getting still a good bit of people that think Shinra is outerversal. Let's talk about the scale that Kosu-sama has actually done. As you can see, he has 2 scaling videos right there, and I'm going to talk about those. Now, I'm not gonna lie, he made some really good points, and there are some pretty good.
I'm just gonna say this outright before we get into the arguments. You should not be recording a video while you're driving.
Yeah, apparently
That's,
he does that often. If you look at the bottom right, like Lucifer was like, you love to make videos when you drive. Like,
Yeah, like, be careful, dude. I'm very cautious while recording. That's why I'm constantly looking back and forth. Honestly, not a good thing. Like, you should probably not do this, dude. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, like, don't follow the guy's example. I'm sure he, is confident in what he's doing, which is fine. No judgment, but yeah, like, don't do this.
Also, one more thing before we continue. It's best to not judge the conclusion first and figure out what their reasoning is for why they're arriving to, say, conclusion, right? So whether or not you disagree or agree with Shinra being outerversal when he's Shinra Bancho Man at the end of the series, you should be looking at what the arguments they make in order to get to said conclusion, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be, again, you're gonna be seen as having a bias, right?
Yeah, and please, just to reiterate and just like add up to that, like, if you're hearing a scale and you're just like closed-mindedly disagreeing, like, look at the evidence that's given. Like, like, I have so many of my comments just be nitpicky and cherry pick certain aspects of what I've said in the video without actually attacking the line of reasoning, right, that leads to the logical conclusion that I get to. So read the scans, analyze the actual evidence given, and like understand the line of reasoning, right? And if you do all that and then you disagree, then sure, that's fine, right? But at least you went through the effort of trying to understand what they were trying to convey.
Yeah.
Scales that you can use, like him being fourth dimensional, but I don't think he could be higher than that. But the reason why is because there's a very striking flaw within his own scales that he's done. Okay. First of all, I'm going to preface this and say concepts do not scale you. Regular concepts have to be scaled.
Actually, wait, no.
Yeah, wait, I'm gonna let him finish.
Off the verse. Because if they're concepts, if they're ideas or mental objects, mental stuff, they scale to the verse, okay? It's completely different when it comes to Platonic concepts. And don't worry about this.
Okay, so, funny enough, you guys know where this Platonic... I've mentioned this in my previous stream, actually, when Hashi was here. But do you not guys want to know where the Platonic concepts being outerversal argument came from? It came from our old buddy Parrot. Like... Who's in the chat right now, actually. I actually saw him previously say something like...
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so, Platonic concepts are outerversal. Like, that's not something we're going to get into, obviously. But the problem with what this guy is saying is that, which we're probably going to be seeing as, like, a huge trend, is this whole thing about these mental concepts not being outer, right? And we do agree that just saying like if I'm above the Platonic not the Platonic concept, if I'm just above like the concept of, say, what's like a good word, of like pizza, right? If I'm just above the concept of a pizza, that doesn't make me outer, right? You would need to like go into like a whole explanation of why that would qualify you to be outerversal, right? And the reason, and we educate ourselves on what outerversal is. It's being above the concept of space, right? I explained this in my dimensional tiering video, where essentially, because in high hyperversal, it's infinite dimensions and higher, right? That means even no matter how many dimensions you stack on top of each other, even infinite sets on top infinite sets, you're never even going to reach to low outerversal. And low outer is above the concept of dimensionality, right? Because no matter how many infinite dimensions you have, the concept of dimensionality would just be able to contain all of that regardless. So
and just to add to that real quick, it doesn't matter like how like the quantification of the dimensional structure. Like something could be like a verse could be subject to like 4 dimensions, right? Or it could be subject to infinite dimensions. Regardless, right? The concept of dimensionality remains the same, right? If a character is said to be above or transcendent of dimensionality as a whole, right? They're above said like structure, right? Regardless of like its value or quantification or its value, right? Like the concept itself stays the same.
okay, and essentially, the concept of space would be able to, well, the concept of dimensionality would be contained within the concept of space, right? So that's where we get to outerverse. Now, he is right in the fact that not all concepts would just scale you there, but the
I didn't even
concept
say
of space
that. Like
would.
in my video, I didn't even say that.
Yeah. Which, funny enough, Adola does contain those concepts. Like, we just know that they're stated to be contained within Adola. And when Shinra becomes Shinra Bancho Man, like me and Kosu were just going over some shit. There's a lot to basically imply that Shinra Bancho Man is just the embodiment of Adola. And is able to fight with the Evangelist, who is basically the embodiment
Essentially,
of like human, of like the collective unconscious, which gives power, which is essentially, if you want to get into that, Kosu.
Well, yeah. So okay. So the collective unconscious is just said to be like the assembly of human ideation, right? So like all of human ideation, it's stated, right? And we know that these ideas, right, or these concepts, actually alter the very physics of the like Fire Force universe, right? So we know, for one, we know it's not just literal thoughts that Adola is housing, right, or Adola contains. Like if it was just literal thoughts, it would be a completely different case. But we know that they're actual abstractions that like actually alter the structure of reality, right? When the great cataclysm actually nears into like full effect. Yeah. So we know that they're talking about actual concepts, and we know that the ideas themselves are in relation to abstracts because there are a multitude of statements throughout the series that reference like concepts like truth, hope, despair, right? Things that don't actually have a physicality to it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I hope that this guy's not just gonna say that you need to have to be like a Platonic concept to be outer. Like, let's see where he goes with this.
Bunch of idiots. Sure. So don't use their whole idea of what Platonic concepts are, because Platonic concepts are universal. Straight up. They're just universal.
Yeah.
And it is right here. Okay. So as you.
Let's see. What is this? Which means our world is mixed with the concepts of the people from the past. Oh, it's merging of our world and Adola, the world of ideas, and the cataclysm has already happened once, which means our world mixed with the concepts of the people from the past, and blah blah blah. Okay.
Yeah.
You all have been told by him, Adola is the world of ideas, or humanity's ideation. Now, ideation, concepts, and ideas, whatever, they all are the same. Okay? Yeah. Like I said before, mental concepts are completely different from Platonic concepts, which are true.
Okay, so pause real quick.
Yeah, you want to go into that? Yeah.
Yeah. So what he's doing is attributing like the like pretty much he's like he's basically saying that you have to be able to scale to Platonic concepts in order to like scale to outer, right? Now the problem is that while yes, Platonic concepts can get you to outer, you don't need concepts to be Platonic for them to be impressive, right?
Yeah.
Like, not every piece of fiction has to be related to Plato's theory. Like, like there's just no way to prove that, right? Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, okay, well, all of these concepts and all of human ideation and Fire Force, they're all just Platonic concepts. No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say any of them are Platonic because there's just no proof for that. There's nothing in the series to warrant that, right? So for him to be like, okay, yeah, you have to scale to Platonic concepts in order to be outerversal, he's like implying that every verse is somehow related with or corresponds to Platonic or Plato's theory. Like there's just no case for that, right? That's just a qualifier.
All right. We got a donation from Nope Nope with a $2 saying, "Hey, saying hi. What's up, Nope Nope?
What up, Nope?
Thanks for the donation." Also, because we're gonna be going through a lot of these videos, we might not be able to read what's going on in the chat. So, if you want us to like immediately respond to whatever question you may have, like just send a donation. We will be able to answer it like immediately. So,
yeah.
So. One more thing before we completely unpause this video is do you guys remember what is happening for those who have read the manga? What happens when Adola starts merging with our world? Things that were originally imagined become real.
Yeah.
Things literally just like, and the literal embodiments of humans' perceptions of people or doppelgangers literally show up. Like literally what people like, if for instance, if you were seen as someone who's like a total arrogant person and you don't care about anyone else but yourself, and that's not who you truly are, even though that's how people view you, that's what your doppelganger would be. Okay? And you literally face up against that person and more and more of those people kept coming in when Adola was being merged together. And every time we saw the realm of Adola, they start naming off all the different concepts that are thought up and created within Adola. Right? And it all stems from whatever humans are thinking about. Right? Whatever humans are thinking about is that created in Adola. And you know one of the strongest characters in the series, the Evangelist, you want to know how he was created? Humans thought up the idea of a god. Literally, the idea of a god. It's like, they literally straight up just be like, the Evangelist didn't create humanity. Humanity created the Evangelist. And what the Evangelist is doing the entire time is basically manipulating the perceptions and like of humanity and trying to lead them to despair. That's what they're trying to do the entire time, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and keep note that doppelgangers can't actually like exist in the real world until the Great Cataclysm happens, right? Like they can't actually interact with each other until Adola actually like starts the process of, or well, I guess the Evangelist, whatever, the same thing. But once they actually start the process of the Great Cataclysm, which is just the merging of like Adola or like the world of ideas and reality, right? So
soul above spatial temporality. Okay? So, but there's one thing that puts a dent into the whole scale, because on the next bubble after that, it says that the world is being mixed with the concepts of the people from the past. Meaning these concepts are from past people, meaning these concepts are temporal, or they're bounded by time. Meaning
what? No, that's not what that means. What they mean is when they're talking about people from the past coming back when Adola is merging with the real world, is people literally from the past who had died in the real world come back as doppelgangers. That's why we see Benimaru face up against his old master who died. Right? That's literally what happens. That's what that's basically saying. And the guy that he was facing was his doppelganger, which we again already said is literally people's perception of how they viewed him.
Yeah, and
the literal
and
embodiment of it.
Yeah, them just saying that like the world is mixed with concepts of the people of the past just means from like previous to like the first cataclysm that had failed, right? So there was a cataclysm that was like being enacted, and then everything changed. Like if you've read the manga, you know that before the first cataclysm that happened, well, at least on Earth, um, everything looked like real life. Like it actually looked like it came from our world, like the real world, like where you and me are actually existing in, right? Like, and then once the failed cataclysm happened, right, everything turned into where they live in now, right? Which is, well, you know, like the anime looking world, right? So, yeah, like that just means that the people, like the concepts of the people before the first cataclysm, right, were perceiving the world as if it was like an anime, basically.
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to get down to that.
Yeah.
So that's all that means.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that they're temporally dependent or something. I don't know why we'd even assert that.
Them being like them existing in the past does not mean that they're bound by time. Like if Shinra goes back in time and then meets his past former self, does that mean he's bound by time because of that?
No. And plus, like Shinra's literally gone to the past and saw how reality was before the first cataclysm. So,
yeah, all right.
They cannot be above spatial temporality, meaning they cannot be outer. To put it in simpler terms, this is Plato's cave, as you can see.
Okay.
Oh, hey,
Man,
Parrot.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, Parrot would have a field day with this guy. Again, I think it's funny. Like, I don't know what tiering system he uses, but whether it be on character stats or even versus Battle Wiki, they don't use the idea of Platonic concepts being the definition for outer. No.
Like I said earlier, it is a qualifier. Like if a verse has Platonic concepts and someone just scales so these Platonic concepts are above, like, sure, right? Like that would be a qualifier. That's fine. But that doesn't mean that outer versal as a tier is contingent on like the existence of Plato's theory.
Yeah.
Where the concepts that he is talking about, where they scale to, would be the diffused sunlight. Okay, that is what his concepts would scale to. In Plato's cave, the whole idea of concepts and Plato's concepts or whatever, the prisoners are us, and the shadows cast on the wall are the physical ideation.
Wait, hold on, pause it real quick. So, one more thing, and I feel like this is also something a lot of people kind of confuse. I never said that the concepts were outer. Like,
No.
I never said in my video anywhere within the scale that the concepts themselves were outer. So,
so for those learning, that's what's called a straw man. Like, he just simply just ignored the fact that he didn't mention anything about, because that's not what Kosu was saying in this video. It's just that Adola houses these concepts in which were thought up and were created by humanity, right?
Yeah.
And some of these concepts include dimensions, mathematics, and space, like all in a ton of other stuff, like
truth, despair, death, life, like all these other abstract.
Yeah. So we're saying that stuff would help qualify them to being outer. That's what caused them, not this.
Yeah,
not
like Adola.
Like,
Adola is what's outer, right?
Yeah.
And if someone scales to Adola, they're outer, like on a very basic level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Physical forms of these concepts. The diffuse sunlight is the idea. We know it's there. We can see it. We think about it, and that's what those concepts are. But the accent of the sunlight, the sun itself, is far beyond our level of knowledge, and it governs what the sunlight shows. So Shinra Banchaman would not be outer. I don't think anyone in there could scale to outer. I think there's
a lot of people
context.
There's a lot of people.
Anyone who survived is able to survive the Great Cataclysm, which is the complete merging of Adola and the
reality.
And reality would just be outer. Due to that. And which includes like, which also includes Arthur and Benimaru. Like,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, to be fair, right? Like, Arthur was like, I don't know. Arthur's a weird case, but he was able to just stop the cataclysm, which should just scale him. And then Benimaru willingly let himself die from the cataclysm, right? And this is very obvious in the narrative.
yeah.
That he could have escaped. He said, "I'm just going to stay with you guys till the very end," basically, right?
And funny enough, Arthur's a really good case to like help prove why Adola is so impressive. Is that so? Shinra basically confirms that the only other two people that truly understood like the meaning of Adola were Arthur and Benimaru.
Yeah.
And after Arthur beats this video game, essentially because of how huge his imagination is, basically whatever he thought up at the time, he could just literally do. Where he's just like, oh, I can teleport now. It's like, oh, with this thing, I can now breathe in space. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do this thing with the Excalibur, which wasn't even a function that Vulcan gave it. Like,
yeah.
that's
He also just has plot manip from it too, because Dragon stated he's got the power to control the narrative or something. Like,
yeah,
which also is consistent when Leaked was viewing the Cataclysm. Like, he was like, he mentions how his like their story was being altered, right? So it's just interesting stuff.
yeah. I feel like
Uni plus, fourth dimensional. That seems like a lot fair and a lot more reasonable.
Hey, you know what?
All
I ain't
right.
even mad, right? Like, I'm not even mad because a lot of people also just disagree with Uni plus Shinra, and like him agreeing that Shinra is like at least Uni plus is like, you know, I'm not even mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he is just he is just outer. Like, there's just a lot of things that I don't think he understood much, or maybe just like misheard.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I'm gonna turn down the music on this one. This is another one that people kept sending me. That's also topically going over debunking Outerversal Shinra.
Yeah, there's a pause to read one, so.
They got that dough. Bitch, it ain't even my birthday, but I can buy.
Okay, so some people have been going around saying that Shinra is new form is outer because he can create life. He's a god and recreated all of creation. So I'm clear this misconception. Okay, so that's not why people saying he's outer.
Not at all.
That's just something that he can do.
Yeah,
right?
that's just one of his feats, bro. Like,
Honestly, I'm gonna turn
that off.
Music.
It's a pause to read. So
yeah.
yeah.
So no, this is not why people consider him outer. So that's just a blatant misrepresentation of what people try to say he's outer. If he's come across people that do just say this, then they're just wrong, right? But
I will say though too, that I think that kind of stems from Meech making a video. You probably don't know him, but he makes TikToks. He's one of my mutuals as well, and like
this guy.
I'm who?
This guy right here, or
no. The argument stems from Meech, I believe, because he made like a video before my Outerversal scale came up, and like I'm pretty sure he had mentioned that as like a feat to qualify for outer, and yeah, I could be wrong, but like no hate to Meech, you know, but yeah, that brought about some headaches because that feat doesn't prove outer at all.
Yeah. So then he says, let's start with him recreating all creation. Some people take that too literal and thought through it became a misconception. Okay. Here's the thing, right? Now, what all of creation means varies depending on the verse that you're talking about, right? Like, if we know, for instance, Dragon Ball, if something says it's going to destroy all of creation, well, how big is the Dragon Ball universe? Well, we do know, at the very least, that there's 12 macrocosms that exist, along with like Zeto's palace, like, and so on. And then you had like the 3 other or like 6 other timelines that exist that would also contain those other realities. Right. So at the very least, if you say he's destroying all creation, then it would like be like low multiversal, or around that.
Probably multiversal, if anything, but yeah.
Low multi to multiversal. Just doing that.
Yeah.
So just saying all of creation really depends on the verse and how big we know the verse is. So
yeah.
Why isn't Shinra in character stats and profiles? It character stats and profiles stems from whoever decides to create a profile on a character. Who, funny enough, Kosu is currently in the midst of creating a Shinra profile. So
yeah, which should include like his early scaling, mid series scaling, and end of series scaling. So, just yeah, that whenever I actually get finished with that, but I'm pretty close. So
yeah. All right, let's see. What else did he say? Shinra can't recreate literally all of creation, like the universe, reality, or all of existence. But what he can do is recreate everything on planet Earth, so it has a limited range. What?
Bro. Okay, so he's just doing that. He's just saying that because like he only like put his hand on the ground, right? And like recreated civilization and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like yeah, no, he when they state like he can recreate all of like creation, right? Or recreate all of what the hell does he say? He says like recreate the world or something like that. Yeah, like obviously you can interpret that as like a planet level feat or something, but like we know that these characters just scale to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
We know that they like it's already been pre-established that they like Adola exists as an outer realm, right? Like which I've already mentioned. So like him having the power to recreate everything, right, would just scale to that level of all creation. And plus keeping in mind that like when they reference him recreating the world, they also mention that he creates a new hell, right? Yeah. And I mentioned in my video that when they reference hell, they reference Adola itself, because Adola, as mentioned a couple times in the manga, hell is just how humanity perceives Adola. That's just the name that they placed on Adola. So whenever they say hell, it's just Adola.
So if we look here, so this is Hamea, and this is like during his fight with her fight with Shinra Banchaman. With the completion of the Great Cataclysm, this planet was made into a sun, and yet you're still trying to repeat the sorriness that has ceased for once. And you can only be so irresponsible with power because you have not listened to the collective unconscious of humanity. You said I was like a god, didn't you? But isn't it you who gained the power of all creation to become God? It's like you're the one who's irresponsible for creating the hell on Earth. So, while Shinra had previously was talking about Hamea and the Evangelist being God, they then call him God and states that he has the power of all of creation, which would include Adola. So by that statement, he would just be outer based off of that.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, like this is after the Cataclysm has already been completed. So like us just saying it's just Earth, right, is just wrong, right? Like it's like Adola and reality have already merged, right?
Yeah, and the thing was that later on when he does recreate a bunch of the environment on Earth, the Hamea was still like, okay, so what? Like, what you're just simply doing is restarting the cycle of despair. Like, that's all you're doing. And so what Shinra literally had to do was then quite literally change the rules of how the world works. Because because the Evangelist's job is for everyone to eventually lead to is like to eventually succumb to death, and then which will lead to despair, right? So what Shinra ends up doing is make it so that life was practically meaningless and that death is all we knew, right? And basically change how we view death entirely. It's essentially, think of it like this. If we were, because if in a video game, like say, I'll just bring up a random example like Minecraft, for example. If you just simply died, you could just respawn and then continue on normally, right? And it didn't really matter whether or not you actually died. Like maybe sure you'll lose like the items that you had on you or something, but you could just simply respawn. And that's literally what he's doing. Because while life was just simply you had one life, and then once you die, you just die, right? But what Shinra did was create this cycle of rebirth to where death was now he's created a world of death. So dying is like has a completely different meaning in this world now.
Yeah.
And that was his response to Hamea just saying, well, what you're doing is just recreating the cycle of despair. It's like, well, no, because I'm taking death out of the question. Like, well, it's like life is just like death is the new life essentially. So
yeah.
All right, let's continue on with this. Also, if we're just gonna say it's only planet level, are we just gonna say that Dragon and Shinra are stronger than Shinra Bancho Man? Because they were literally destroying stars while they were, like, multiple stars as they were fighting each other in space?
Oh,
Like,
you mean Dragon and Arthur? Yeah,
Dragon
like
and Arthur.
while they were fighting, and somehow people miss this, right? While they're fighting, they're literally like the impacts of their attacks and everything are just bursting multiple stars, right? And like in space. And we know that they're actual stars because it's stated like I think it was Dr. Giovanni. He had stated like, yeah, the very physics of the world is being altered. Have you seen the stars and the moon? Right.
Yeah.
And we know like when things are being altered due to the cataclysm, it's the perceptions of those said like objects or those like bodies. Right. So like the moon changed into the like perception of how humanity would view the moon, right? So its very form changed, which is also the same thing for the stars. So yeah, those are actual stars. They're not just like fucking like I don't know random things in the sky that are star shaped, you know, like.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else he says. Yeah, creation stems from imagination. It forms the very earth. Okay. Embrace the facts, flames. Seeing that Arthur was in space while Shinra was fighting on Earth, he could see the changes happening on Earth, the black flames and the breath of life. Okay.
Yeah.
Arthur witnessed all that while in space, which further proves that the range of Shinra's power is the planet. That's not what happened.
What?
That's not what happened.
What?
Oh boy.
What does that mean, bro?
Literally just if it's like essentially what Arthur is doing is to bring it back to Minecraft, right? Like Kosu even brought this up as like an example when Shinra Bancho Man came out and was like actually doing stuff. It's like Shinra Bancho Man was like in Minecraft creative mode and was changing, was like using command and literally had command blocks infused into his body and was changing how the world functioned and looked, right?
Yeah.
And basically Arthur was in spectator mode.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. So just because Arthur was there and witnessing everything does not mean that he was not affected by any of it. He was just simply watching over and seeing like Shinra do all of this.
Yeah. And like the thing is, right? Like obviously the Great Cataclysm affected more than just Earth, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it affects literal stars, and it's stated that it's going to affect like the very universe itself. Like the cataclysm does just scale beyond that, and Shinra is pretty much enacting his own version of the cataclysm, which is just like changing the very forms of reality into like with his own imagination. So yeah, I don't see why, like, if you think Shinra is like only planetary due to his like ability to reform like things, like, then you think the Great Cataclysm's only planetary, which is just weird to say.
Mm-hmm. Also, then he says, even if Shinra's range could cover the whole universe, which it was doing much farther than that, it wouldn't make much of a difference because he was shown no feat of transcending the concept of time, space, or infinite dimensions. So not hour. Let's go back to looking for. Let's see. Let's look at this scan right here.
There is just a blatant statement, by the way, in the manga, like that he transcends time. So
we have this, right? Whenever just these random words pop up, whenever we enter Adola, are the concepts that are being named off that they can see that exist within Adola. Like truth, higher plane, law, world, mathematics, hell, God, and let's see, there's more. Here's another one. Numbers, law. Where's the one with dimensions in it? Do you have that one?
So the raw kanji of higher plane is what says like higher dimension. So
Okay.
when they say higher plane, like it's like completely synonymous, right? Because the raw kanji, and we verified this with like multiple translators, and like what 02 Naya, like people who actually have studied the language, we know this to be like the case, that it's referencing higher dimensions, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And you guys can feel free to go and translate it yourself from the raw kanji and, try and express like some other interpretation of it, by all means.
Okay. So some people think being called God scales you anywhere. No.
Ooh. Who thinks that?
No one has ever said this ever. Like, who's saying this?
Bro, I could call an ant God, right? Like,
which is actually just the power of nature?
Oh my god.
Where's that stated? Where's it stated that having the power of creation is just having the power over nature?
Because he's probably taking the definition of Shinra Bansho as like it just being nature.
I like how he just then posted the scan which it says all of creation and became God, and then
yeah, that's the funny thing, right? So like he's
all
not
things
even
in nature, all of creation. So wait, he just misrepresented his own scan. He said the power over nature, and then it says, which means all things in nature / all creation.
Damn, bro, he debunked himself.
Yeah,
like in his own video.
So
that's
you just misrepresented the scan, bro. Like,
yeah,
okay.
You're just cherry picking and not reading the whole scan, even though it's like right there. Like you would see it while you're editing, which I know you edited that, right? Like you sat there, edited that video, and looked at that for about maybe at least 2 minutes, and just decided, yeah, no, it's nature.
Yeah. Shinra can manipulate life, and some people think life is a concept, so creating it would automatically equate to outer. No one's ever said this ever. Like, who's saying this, dude? Who is saying this? Who's saying that just because he is able to recreate life and revive people that he's somehow just outer? Like,
bro.
No one's saying this at all.
Now, one thing I will say that I did make a mistake in my video. Now just thinking about that is I believe I claimed life and death as a duality, which obviously sometimes it can be viewed as it, but that it's not inherently true. Like that's something I did make a mistake on, and I will take that back. So.
Oh yeah, so here's like Shinra basically says like, he lessened the value of life and said that he made death into something that's closer and more intimate. So, what is something that's a bit more intimate than just literally being unable to die by conventional means? Like, we literally see a character afterwards, after he got revived, get his head chopped off, and then literally people were able to reattach his head, and then it just was like, oh, I thought I died there, and it's like,
Yeah,
well,
his head like
technically you
fell
did.
off
Yeah.
because it was sliced before he died. Yeah, so
yeah, he's not even close to Elder since I've been through all the misconceptions now for
oh,
this
now
his
for his real skill. Okay.
the black flames destroyed everything in the planet and engulfed the whole planet. The planet became a sun. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
As the manipulation has the power of creation. Yeah.
Yeah, all creation.
Also, this isn't just time manipulation, by the way, because when Hameya shot the light of despair at him, he didn't just simply because we already know that he's fast enough to just simply run back in time, right? And he basically said that he kept stopping and reversing time over and over and over again until he got it right.
Yeah, and it even says right there, I've been going back and forth a lot, right? So like we know he's like that. If you're going back and forth, right, like you're going somewhere. Like I feel like that's just kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just like he's standing there and like manipulating time, like yeah.
In conclusion, planetary to star level, MFTL plus, death, life, and time manip creation. Also, no. Why is he only MFTL?
Yeah, he didn't even show anything for
He
speed.
just
I mean, okay. So
Yeah.
he did show something for speed, but like he showed nothing for MFTL. Yeah. Like what the hell?
All right, and that's pretty much it. All right, so that's pretty much that, right? Now, let's go to
Kosu and Naya's duality. Facts.
Alrighty, here's another one.
I think this is another pause to read.
Oh, okay. Is this another pause to read thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Oh, okay. So this is what we knew we were going to get into, right? This is a measurable speed. This is the definition for measurable speed from Versus Battle Wiki. Personally, yeah. I don't have any real problems with this definition. It's fine. Like, it's not that bad. But then, okay, he was able to travel back in time, so you would think that qualifies as a measurable speed. That's literally the definition. That he was able to do that via raw speed. Like, literally, he says keeps running around that speed. Like, he's running.
Yeah, he's doing
fast.
It sheer speed. Yeah. Like...
But then, note 6. Alrighty, boys. We're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about a concept that I referred to in the last video. It's time to learn how to read, boys. We're going to learn how to read today. So, let's actually go to Versus Battle Wiki speed page. Let's go all the way down and see and read note 6 real quick. All right.
No, I think it was the... Wait, actually?
It should
Yeah,
be...
no, I think it was that one. I think.
It was...
Yeah, infinite speed and measurable speed and how they compare, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Right here.
Yep.
All right, so let's read this out. Being able to casually roam around freely across linear time qualifies for measurable speed. However, traveling to different time periods through movement is a common feat in fiction that often leads to inconsistencies and is done via FTL travel or running laps around the Earth faster than it rotates. This can lead to characters being assigned an additional independent speed rating for the ability. This should preferably be evaluated case by case. So,
Yeah.
as Kosu has talked about on his own TikTok and YouTube channel, people seem to just glance over this last sentence here. That's like stated by, like, even if you want to use versus Battle Wiki, at least actually read what they say here and don't just assume that this just means if it's done via FTL travel, you can't use it.
Yeah.
It
All
should be
this is saying is that like traveling through different time periods, right, via like FTL travel can, right, emphasis on can lead to inconsistencies, right? And that's fine. I don't disagree with that, and that's fair, right? But like if I sit there and show consistency as to why he's able to do this multiple times throughout the series, right, and why it is a consistent scale for him, right, then yeah, like it just is immeasurable speed, right? Like versus Battle Wiki isn't even disagreeing with FTL travel like being a qualifier for immeasurable, because in some verses that is the case. In my video, I bring up a comparison where like the Flash in TC, right, is immeasurable, or obviously higher, right? But like he gets to these tiers because he goes faster than light, right? Yeah. The speed force wall itself is stated to be the speed of light, and in order for him to like actually get into the speed force, he has to go faster.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And here's the issue is, again, the only reason versus Battle Wiki brought this up is because, as they said here, because of how much of a common occurrence it is in fiction for this to happen, they say it often leads to inconsistencies. And that's why they're even mentioning the whole, like, it should be reviewed case by case. But guess what, guys? That's how you should view any feat in fiction.
yeah, everything.
It literally does not matter. Like, if someone just says, I'm going to blow up the world, right? What does world mean in this contest, right? Would the world actually mean, like, say if we're gonna interject context, like, oh, they're inside the universe that somebody created that's separate from the main universe, right? And they said they're gonna destroy the entire world. That would just mean their own world, right? That would include the entire universe. But if it's talking about like the Earth or something, then obviously it would only imply the Earth, right? We're reviewing things case by case because context exists. Depending on the context, can completely change what a sentence actually is trying to say here, right? Like, for example, if I just say, I have cake, right? Like, I could be talking about the food cake, but what if I then interject context saying, oh, I actually have a dog that's named Cake. So when I say I have cake, it's in response to saying, I have cake at my house, my dog. Right?
Yeah. Like, and it's so annoying too, because like I've mentioned in my video, like these same people like who will disagree with Shinra being immeasurable will just blindly agree that Flash is immeasurable, right?
Yeah.
Without looking in depth into the actual context as to why they're immeasurable, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it should be just evaluated case by case. Like, I can sit there and give you a preponderance of evidence to prove why this would be the case for Shinra, and then you then have to prove why it isn't, right? Like, you'd have to give me a valid, or equally valid interpretation as to why he's not, which every person that has come to me with a quote unquote debunk hasn't done. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like this one. Oh,
Debunking this.
Well, I'm just debunking this guy from immeasurable speed with one scan. Let me guess, bro. Is it note 6? It's a Note 6. It's Note 6! Let's go, bro! Let's go! People don't know how to read!
For real.
Oh, guess what, guys? Look at that. What's the sentence that that is conveniently left out of this screenshot here?
Yeah, weird.
The one thing that literally states, like, that literally debunks his own, like, so he's just blatantly misrepresenting Versus Battle Wiki here. So if you're gonna cite Versus Battle Wiki, at least try to cite them with the full context, bro. Don't cut something off purposely and try to act
be
like,
honest.
oh, bro, just read, it's right here. Yeah, you're blatantly misrepresenting and should have shown the actual full website and, like, actual paragraph, bro. Instead of just being like, oh, just read this.
Yeah. These people are funny.
If you're going to ignore a debunk, it's this guy, right? If you're going to ignore the debunk, you're getting blocked, deleting your comment. I'm tired of the ignorant Fire Force fans. Shinra isn't immeasurable. And it's like, bro, you're the one being ignorant, bro. You're the guy that's in
blocked.
You're the guy that's in denial, right? Like, Shinra is probably one of the most blatant immeasurable speed cases in, like, shonen, right?
Yeah.
Especially in shonen. So, imagine strawmanning a website you're sourcing. Exactly.
That's funny, yeah. That's exactly what he did. Like, you're being disingenuous with Versus Battle Wiki, bro.
He was only moving FTL. He's not MFTL. He only feats.
Oh my god.
Feats are travel. All right. So,
His only feats are time travel.
So, here's the problem, guys, that we just need to sit down and talk about, all right? Now, whenever we say that someone is traveling at FTL speeds, you know what we're saying? We're saying they travel this fast. We're saying that they travel like 300, at least over 300 million meters per second. That's what we're saying when we say that something is going beyond light speed, right? That is what we're saying. That's what the tier is. All right? The speed of light is just that fast. We're not including the fact that, in the theory of relativity, the more and more you go closer to the speed of light, time slows to a stop, right? And if you go beyond it, you would theoretically then be able to travel backwards in time, right? And that's what Fire Force is actually teaching us, right? And that's literally what Licht is saying right here.
Yeah,
right?
Like, there's, oh my god, like, it's just funny to me because it's like, why is it that they'll sit there and be like, oh, he's only FTL because he was only stated to be FTL, when you can't just consider the possibility of, like, well, his FTL speed is just immeasurable speed. Like, it's pretty simple, like, if you really just open your mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just bonkers that people really try to reach and misquote stuff in order to try to get this across. Like, so alrighty. Let's see.
The funny thing is, it actually takes more assumptions to say, like, he's only FTL, right?
Yeah.
Like, rather than, like, and non-immeasurable, right? And try and differentiate the two rather than just say, like, yeah, his FTL is just immeasurable. Like,
oh, is this a guy that's just gonna say? Because I think I'm seeing in the comments anywhere after this video, you're in denial, dude. You're the one in denial, dude.
oh my god.
How can you just look at this and then just be like, yeah, that's just FTL, bro? Like,
yeah.
do y'all not use verse equalization? I mean, no, everybody uses verse equalization. What that is meant to do is for people that try to say that Naruto and Ichiko can't interact with each other or their attacks can't affect each other because one has chakra and one has spirit energy.
Yeah.
Right? And we're basically just not getting into the whole debate on whether or not those, like, trying to get into the whole debate of, like, spirit or Ryatsu versus chakra. We're just saying, okay, we're equalizing them and say that they can affect each other, right? That's what verse equalization is.
Yeah.
Right? It's making it so that conversation doesn't really need to be had. Like, it just makes the thing way more complicated than it should be. Okay, that's the end.
Yeah, I guess we're in denial because I still think he's immeasurable. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Oh, I think Is this something we need to react to? I can't remember.
Yeah, certainly. I don't I don't really remember either. Yeah, I remember.
What is going on, guys? We got asked this question right here: Shinra versus Asta. Shinra from Fire Force, Asta from Black Clover. We're gonna compare them against.
One thing we're gonna make claim to this video: we don't know how powerful Asta is. Like, I've only seen I've only like read a bit of Black Clover, so I'm not gonna really comment on. We're not gonna comment anything related to Asta. We're just gonna talk about Shinra. So
Each other based on these categories, and we're gonna claim an overall victor in a head-to-head battle, based on my opinion anyway. Leave your comments and your opinions down below. Just be respectful, all right?
All right, be respectful.
Yeah,
That's
and also
be based, man. Be respectful. This is just our opinions, bro. You don't need to get angry about it.
Yeah.
All right. First off,
Pause it.
abilities. I think I gotta give it to Shinra
Pause it.
because Shinra.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to say too, like, from what I've heard, right? From what I've heard from other, like, from actual Black Clover scalers and stuff, like Asta's like MFTL or something, and like I don't know anything about, like, about his AP or durability or anything, but like, I heard it's not really all that impressive. So I mean, we'll kind of judge it from here.
Yeah.
Shinra's abilities basically make him not faster than light, but faster than time itself. The dude can literally travel through time, almost, if you want to call it that, I guess. And if he has grace, if he has the grace, then Shinra can literally stop time, if not rewind time. So
Okay, so pause that.
He doesn't need.
Yeah,
at some point, Shinra does not need to use grace in order to go that fast.
Yeah.
Or be that powerful
he doesn't need
either.
it.
At the start of the series, he did, and when he went up against this that one demon, he did. But he does not. But later on, when Adola is merging more with reality, he does not need to do that. Plus, he ends up getting stronger after after death takes all of their powers and pyrokinetics. So
yeah, so he's still immeasurable.
Yeah.
Shinra's just that kind of OP when it comes to speed and all that stuff. Yes, I know Asta has his Devil Union mode or whatever for those people who have read the manga, and I have too as well, and same with Fire Force. Asta's ability is extremely OP, right? I favor Shinra's abilities in this battle, but luckily that's not the only thing that matters in a battle when it comes to head-to-head. I favor Shinra's abilities in the battle, but Asta's abilities, again, are extremely overpowered, and Asta has fought against people who move at the speed of light before, and that comes into play later. Next category, durability. Asta. That dude has literally fought head-to-head with demons, demon-possessed people, right? And he has taken hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question. So, here's the thing, right? You just need to watch the anime in order to know about the immeasurable speed feats, right? If he's talking about Asta, look, I've read a bit of Asta, of Black Clover. Asta is kind of similar, and to the point where he just does not give up at all. and keeps getting back up even after. But the problem is that Shinra, you gotta watch his fight with Burns, bro.
Yeah.
Shinra
Not only
was
that,
getting,
I mean, like,
was getting beat to shit. Like, he was absolutely getting destroyed and kept powering through that shit. Burns was getting stronger and stronger until eventually Shinra just like destroys him. Like,
yeah,
Shinra
and this
has
also
like
that also
absolute-
relates to his fight
Yeah.
with Benimaru too.
Yeah. So
After hit, he gets back up. And
also, that's just weird that he's just talking about like he's fought demons before and all this stuff. Like, if we're gonna go to that level of argumentation, so that's literally Shinra's job.
Yeah.
His job is to fight infernals and demons, and literally has fought them before. And demons, in particular, in Fire Force, have insane levels of durability, and that's why he needed Grace in order to defeat one.
Yeah.
Like, it's seen as a total monumental feat to even defeat a demon. Like, nearly the entire, like, it took like a couple of companies all together to make this huge plan in order to defeat one infernal. I mean, not one demon, just one. Right? They have insane levels of durability, and even though, like, say, like Ugin was able to like completely overpower it, its durability allowed it to outlast him. So even though Ugin was completely demolishing the demon, he didn't have the attack potency to put him away for good.
Yeah.
Shinra of Grace one-shots him.
Yeah.
He literally told, like, because literally the guy, the person that gave him Grace literally said, if you have to one-shot this guy, and if you can't one-shot this guy, you're probably not going to be able to defeat him. So, what does that tell you?
Yeah. Also, like, you know, Shinra's durability at that point, right? Because he's obviously not using like Shinra Bansha, man. He's using base Shinra, right? So, again, maybe you guys in the chat can correct me. I don't know if Asta has anything to put him like near Uni Plus, but Shinra should just have Uni Plus durability at that point from scaling the show.
Some people in the chat are saying that he's continental, but obviously we're not going to take what chat says into consideration, but we'll see.
just keeps fighting. For you, those anime only people, that was very evident in the fight against Dante. As you saw, just got back up, no problem. That dude, Asta's durability is unmatched.
Okay, how powerful is Dante? like,
you know,
how powerful is Dante?
In terms of battle IQ and battle experience, I got to give both of those to Asta as well. Asta has been in way more fights and fights with tougher opponents than Shinra had.
Yeah. Here's the
battle
thing,
IQ,
bro. Battle IQ.
I don't know.
It's battle experience. That no. The mother, like Shinra, literally in his most strongest state, literally like kept going backwards in time so many times that like he was actually getting like tired, and this was when he was being shot at by the light of despair. And he's been like training for his entire life. Like it was in like a Fire Force Academy and everything. So, wait, here's the thing. I just want to see, how old is Asta? Because from what I remember at the start of the series, he was 14. He's 15. Shinra's
17.
17. So you're trying to tell me the 15-year-old has more battle experience than the 17-year-old? Like, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. Like
I don't know. Like again,
like,
I haven't.
I know there's
read...
a time skip, I know there's a time skip. I remember. Let's see. After the time skip, he's 16. Okay, I'm like, wait, maybe I'm capping, right? Maybe I'm capping. It's like, oh, apparently it's only just 1 year time skip.
Yeah, like obviously we know Shinra grew up fighting and training.
Or it said to be 17.
That's fine.
Okay, so
I don't know if Asta grew up with that kind of experience and training, because I haven't read it or watched it, but yeah.
And Asta just knows his way around the battlefield. Shinra, I'm not going to say doesn't, but Asta's feats, which is the next category, Asta's feats are way bigger than Shinra's. Shinra
feats. Okay, all right. Let's listen. Because we're ignorant here. What are Asta's best feats?
Not to say he's a weak fighter or anything like that, but I just think Asta kind of directly counters Shinra, because Asta can sense ki, and he's used it in multiple fights against people who do move at light speed.
So can Shinra.
Okay, here's the issue, though. Because luckily, this part of Black Clover I have read. Ki sensing is only relevant when you're trying to anticipate an opponent's attacks.
Yeah.
That's what ki is in Black Clover. That's what ki sensing is. It's not like Dragon Ball ki that you can use as attacks. Ki is just like, in a sense,
like intent.
Like, yeah, you're basically trying to predict what the opponent is going to do and then countering that. Because originally Asta wasn't able to fight this one dude, but then after Yami kind of teaches him about ki sensing, he's able to then like eventually anticipate where the guy was going to attack him from and was able to either block, counter, or dodge. So,
yeah, which Shinra just also knows how to do from training with Benimaru. Like, honestly, and he probably has a better version of it, right? Because like he's able to like sense people like buildings away from him. If we want to take like the final arc, right? Like he's able to sense people like from Adola in reality, right? He's also able to sense like the breath of life. When he's like, for example, when like he's able to sense someone's intent like via their like chi or their breath of life as well, right? Like that's something that Benimaru explains in the manga when he's training, or even when he went to the like I don't know what that place was called, but like where it was like in the bottom or like the basement sort of like the Holy Soul Temple, right? And he was like, I'm sensing the intent to kill from you guys, right? Which he's taught Shinra and Arthur to do.
Well, the thing is, even just random characters like Tamaki are able to sense people, right?
Yeah,
it's not something
Leak
that
knows how to sense.
Like literally everybody and almost everybody in Fire Force knows how to sense stuff. And even if we want to say that Shinra and Asta are equal in AP, Shinra has access to hysterical strength, which is just like how, like, based off of the real life concept of, well, named after and based off the real life concept of humans when put under such stress that they're able to access a like this fight or flight, like the fight or flight response, and so much adrenaline is being pumped through their body that they're able to achieve extraordinary feats of either strength or speed. And like literally there was this one dad that was trying to save his daughter from like burning under a Camaro. It wasn't burning under Camaro. It was like trapped under a Camaro. But because of the stress of the situation, he was literally able to deadlift the freaking Camaro and save the girl. And because of the effects of adrenaline, you don't feel the pain until afterwards. And not until afterwards did he realize that he was clenching his teeth so hard that they shattered. Like, that is just insane. And, or just like how, say if you're getting chased by somebody with a knife, that flight or fight response is going to cause you to probably run so much faster because you're now just so afraid that your body's being pumped with so much adrenaline that you're going to be able to run super quick because you're trying to save your life. Like, that's your body, like, reacting to the situation, be like, we need to get out now. So that's why it's, like, causing you to do that. And Shinra can access this at any time. So
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be that much of a problem for Asta. This is definitely a close battle just because of how fast Shinra can move and how he can manipulate time and all that stuff. But I do think that Asta overall wins just because of...
Yeah, based off what you said, buddy, no.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't fault him. Like, he seems to be more of, like, a casual anime watcher than a scaler, right?
I mean,
so it's not... So, like, I'm not going to fault him for it, and, you know, like, it is what it is. Just know that, like, speed is definitely a huge determining factor of a battle. It's not the determining factor, but, like, if we say someone is... two people are, like, relative in power, and someone's just extremely faster than them, right? Then, like to the point they blitz, then they're probably winning that fight.
Alrighty. So, I'm guessing that this is just Shinra and base versus Sasuke.
Yeah.
Because if this was Shinra Bancho Man, this would not be fair, especially. But let's see what this dude says.
It's fair now.
Alright, let's see. Strength. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Whoa. Wait, whoa.
No. And here's the thing. Unlike Black Clover, I can talk about Naruto. That's literally the series that I scale almost all the time. So, the best stuff that you can get for Sasuke, which is based off of a calcs that Nai has done for, like, the light novels, you can get Sasuke pretty high into MFTL. Shinra is immeasurable. So it doesn't matter how high he's in. Like, literally, Shinra can end the fight before it even starts. Like, quite literally, in fact.
Yeah.
So. And he's already given them the, like, AP as well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give
That's
it.
fine.
I would probably give it to Sasuke. Has Sharingan? Why does that...
I mean, look, if we're being honest, like,
Shinra doesn't have the Sharingan, but why do you need to, like, best at using fire? Okay.
Yeah.
Better if you disagree. Just say you're biased. Okay, boy. I don't care who you say wins. I just care what's your reasoning for saying who wins, right? What?
Solos. Okay. That's just wrong.
Bro, like, come on. Soak up. Here's my question. What is Sasuke going to do that's going to kill Shinra?
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he can't hit Shinra at all. Like, none of his attacks would besides maybe mind hacks, actually. The only thing that could defeat Shinra would be mind hacks. But again,
Shinra just has resistance to that as well.
Well, I just don't know. Well, I'm just saying, even if we give Sasuke like mind hacks, right? But Shinra is just way too fast. So
yeah,
froze up. He just froze up. Yeah. All right.
Whack.
Yeah.
L video.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next one. He's gonna attempt to talk no jutsu to let Shinra concede. Oh, okay. Alright.
Like, bro, your show is trash.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
You can't believe that some of y'all's favorite anime is Fire Force. Like, bro, your show is trash.
Oh, that's...
An off-brand Sanji. Wow.
Off-brand Sanji? How can someone be more useless than Sakura? What?
Whoa, yeah, you have not.
Tamaki? More useless than Sakura. Okay, first off, Sakura ain't useless. Right. That is the most normie shit that I like ever hear all the time. That just tells me that you don't read the series, bro.
Yeah.
Like
if Sakura was useless, right? Like actually useless, Naruto would have been dead.
Dude, it's like Sakura helped take out Sasori, one of the members of the Akatsuki, and was able to and was also did really well as like a medical ninja during the war. Like
Helps
literally
thousands of ninja. Yeah. They'd probably die if she wasn't there.
She has like a vast array of abilities, like say like the 100 healings as well. So like even though Mater like stabbed her, she didn't immediately die, right?
She's unironically one of the strongest in the verse too. Like
and also Tamaki literally was like, because of her lucky lecture, was able to fend off Assault from destroying the entire company 8. Like,
yeah.
And like she's then later stated to be like the what was she stated to be again? Like the concept of what? Like
of like lewdness or something.
Well,
yeah.
it was something
because
else.
It was like a form. Well, because so lewdness was attributed to hope, right? It's like it's like a factor of hope, right?
Yeah.
And she was like a branch of that. She was like the embodiment of lewdness, which is a form of hope for people.
Also, if Tamaki didn't defeat Assault like those many times via her lucky lecture, they wouldn't have been able to defeat Assault's doppelganger.
Hell no, they would have died.
And the White Clad just kept hyping up Assault as being this super powerful dude. And like the next guy that they all hyped up as being super powerful was Dragon. And Dragon is busted. Like, if you're like second to only Dragon, that's pretty powerful, bro. Like, the author really trolling the fan service haters. That's literally like one of the chapters revolving around Tamaki going up against like Assault's doppelganger. And Tamaki's able to tank attacks from Assault as well, like, and just get back up. So if you want to talk about someone having good durability, you gotta look at Tamaki, bro. Like, all right, I'm pretty sure that's everything. Yeah. All right, let's.
I'm pretty sure the kid was trolling. Like, it's all good.
Maybe.
Yeah, like Luffy definitely didn't solo a damn thing. So.
Oh boy. There's this one.
Oh my God! What the hell? Oh my God! Punch my mama in the throat, karate kick my daddy in the chest. What the fuck? Oh my God! Took my daddy's feet.
I love the
hurt
audio.
on my mama neck. What the?
This has got to be the worst chapter in Fire Force. What?
Yeah.
Oh my God! What the hell?
Like,
oh my
I can
God!
Understand,
Punch my
mama.
I can understand people not liking fan service or whatever, right? Like, it's cool, whatever. But like, there was actually a good chapter,
dude. Tamaki was literally being berated by everyone because of this like lucky lecture stuff, and we're all calling her whore and slut. And that was something that Tamaki was suffering from her entire life. Like, and it's because of this like lucky lecture condition that she has seemingly no control over. It's like how Shinra was originally bullied because of his like whenever he gets nervous, he does like this big grin that everyone just thought was so creepy. And that essentially it then started from like this whole like misconception that because he was smiling the day that his mother died, that he was smiling because his family died, and that he was the one that killed them. So that's just something that like Tamaki just had no control over. Like, this may be just like worst chapter and worst character in Fire Force. She shouldn't have been put into the show just for fan service. It was an unironic like thing. Like,
yeah, Like, she's not the worst character, dude. Like, okay, you can not like fan service, but like, there's a purpose. There's a reason why there's fan service, and it's so like, it's almost right exclusive to her, right? Like, obviously, there's instances of like fan service with Maki and Hibana and whatever, but like a majority of the time, the fan service is revolved around Tamaki, but it's for a purpose.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, this one? Okay, so this is one of those rare cases where the guy responding is the one that's getting misinterpreted, and not the guy that's responding to this. Because usually, I watch Clothespin on TikTok, and he often has to deal with guys who are just misinterpreting what he says and stuff.
Yeah.
But
this time the commenter is actually correct.
Yeah. So he says catching an outer versal attack like a fly and creating an atmosphere. Then this guy said catching a fly isn't outer versal.
Oh my god! And creating an atmosphere is about.
How do you read that and say that he catching an attack like a fly? What?
Mans has never heard of a simile before.
How did you blatantly just misread this entire thing and create? Also, he's referring to when Shinra literally caught one of like Hamea's attacks, grabbed it, and then with it used it to create an atmosphere.
Yeah.
An outer versal attack. So that's literally what he did. So you've been trying to tell me that Shinra's outer, but I have given no evidence. You made such claims as Adola is above all conceptuality, and Shinra created life and death. Look at. Okay. You also referenced hell, which you didn't quantify. You didn't prove that Adola is above conceptuality, nor did you prove anything you stated. I'm not rewriting everything again. If anyone wants to discuss, this is the whole discussion. Original. I'm so done with the current big community. It feels like there's only toxic people.
Oh wait. Yeah, okay. I remember this guy. This Kuzina guy. Yeah, so like he was actually pretty respectful on my Shinra video. I don't know how long ago this was. About 6 days ago. Okay, so this is probably like after my Outer Versal like video, right? But yeah, he was actually pretty respectful on my views on Outer Versal Shinra. Obviously he disagrees with it, and he even told me he disagrees with it, but he actually did mention to me that he thinks I brought up like good points or whatever, right? But yeah, I don't know. This is just like a weird take. Like I don't think he like really paid attention to what the guy was trying to comment about. So I don't know.
Yeah, this is just like pretty bad. Like, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have to, like if you're gonna call somebody out, don't misinterpret them, or you're just gonna be called out. Like, no disrespect to you, but you're blatantly just misrepresenting one of your commenters. Like,
yeah, and like he wasn't even being disrespectful. He just told you that he caught an outer versal attack pretty easily. That's about it.
All right. Let's see. Is this
good old Meech? So that's Meech right there, right? Meech scales. Yeah. That's he's a chill dude. He's a chill dude.
So this is another one of those we're going to have to mute and just talk over it. So, on one of the first scans, states that Shinra has dimensional speed because he able to travel through time. Alright, let's see. Is he going to use Note 6? This doesn't make sense for multiple reasons. First off, he didn't move beyond linear time. He traveled through it, never beyond it.
What? Bro, what does he think moving beyond linear time means?
Like, again, if we define linear time as moving in one direction, right? Shinra went the other direction via just running, just by running so fast. Like, that's literally what he did. Like,
Yeah, this is another reason I like the character stats definition a little bit more, because they use the verbiage of like unbound by linear time, right?
Yeah.
Which it that seems to narrow it down a little bit better, because beyond is such an ambiguous term when used for scaling.
yeah. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah, he's definitely not bound by linear time if he's going backwards. Like linear time is just forward, like
also.
temporal
This
progression.
means he could at most travel at infinite speed. What? Why? Able
Yeah,
to
why?
travel anywhere instantly. Okay, you know what's funny here? Let's go back to what Versus Battle does when they compare infinite speed and measurable speed. The difference between infinite and measurable is that the former can go everywhere instantly, whereas the latter can go everywhere and every when faster than instantly. Everywhere and every when. Right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what Shinra does in Fire Force. Multiple times. He just travels back in time, and then when he's going up against his, like, as Shinra Bancho Man against Hameya, he literally does it, like, several times. Like, in one instance. Like, to the point where even Sho and his mom that were inside his mind didn't even know what happened.
Yeah.
So, So I don't know how that qualifies for infinite speed. For example, if Poochie uses MIH to accelerate time,
Made in heaven,
to accelerate time and speed up, up the universe until it reset, would that make Made in Heaven have immeasurable speed?
What?
I mean, I don't know anything about Poochie or Made in Heaven, so I literally have no comment on this. Used to accelerate time and speed up the universe until it reset.
No, why? That's not at all like what immeasurable speed is. That's not even a speed feat. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And by the way, what Shinra is doing is not accelerating time. He's literally like moving so fast that time to him is moving in negative seconds. Like, he's literally going into the past, right? So let's see, what does he say? No, because it's been said multiple times in this standout of books that Made in Heaven has infinite speed. Now this is, I've already been told by a couple of my friends, even Kratos, that this is kind of, that like stand stats are kind of BS, but we're not going to really go into that. That's not what we're here to talk about. And for the jokes, it's literally said that Shinra traveled at a speed of FTL plus FTL plus. This is just what they call, like, him basically going beyond linear time.
Yeah, it literally, if you look right under there, time goes back.
Yeah, time goes back.
Yeah.
So,
like, I don't know, man. It's just funny to me that these people keep getting debunked by the scans they show.
It's never been stated to be infinite. Okay. Time to go Manga C.
Oh, is he talking about the universe in Fire Force?
Yeah. Let's go back to Fire Force.
Yeah, I think like it was like chapter 80 something.
Yeah, it's like around 80. Let's go to chapter 80. Because I remember looking through this fight specifically. Another mention. It's when he's talking to Licht.
Yep. No, it's not that one.
I know. We're getting close though.
Yeah, right there.
Right here. Shinra, have you heard any of this? I think something about the universe growing into infinity.
Yeah, weird.
Weird, huh? Never stayed to be infinite, you say? Never stayed to be infinite, you say? So, yeah, you're just wrong. And because of this, the max you can get this feat to is universal, and stopping time is more of a hacks than AP. Okay.
Wait, what? Okay, so like he's saying it's like the observable universe, right?
Yeah.
Like universal. So yeah, no, it is just UD plus. Like they also just compare the energy, like or the manipulation of like the universe through Show's ability to the Big Bang, right? Which would just be a 40 feet. Like it would just be a universal plus feet.
Yeah. Also, do you know what the guys? Do you know what the observable universe means? If something's being the observable universe is how far we're able to observe the universe, and from what many models have shown us, the universe is far bigger than what we can see, and it's constantly expanding, even right now. Right? That's what's happening. And funny enough, Show's ability is basically the equivalent of what's known as the heat death of the universe. When all like energy and motion meets an equilibrium and everything stops moving. That's literally what Show is doing with his ability. It's basically the equivalent is what's known as the heat death of the universe, or what's even or like it's aka known as the big freeze, which conveniently Show whenever he's shown to like be like right here. Like matter has a property that causes it to expand when heated and contract when cooled. If he can use his Adola burst to affect the heat of the expansion of the universe, then he can make it hotter and the speed of expansion increases. If he cools it, the speed will decrease. If the commander cools the expansion around him, then he'll slow time around him too. And essentially, when we later see, like, Show use this ability for a specific amount of time, you'll see eventually, I don't know if it's in this chapter, but essentially he starts freezing. Like, his body starts being encased in ice, and then he has to stop.
Damn.
Also, the guy we're watching is debunking Meech. So
yeah, I had a wrote in there too, just in case. So yeah.
Okay, let's see, what else does he say? Man also said an infinite 4D contract validates for Uni Plus.
Yeah, because it does.
Well, he said infinite 4D, which is different, but if it was in, the thing is, I don't know if that's what he said, because he's literally showing the definition for Universal Plus.
Okay.
And which just states it's like 4D. So I don't know. He might be misrepresenting him. We don't know. But let's see. This feat of Shinra kicking the moon is only moon level? Okay.
Shinra kicking the moon? No, it's definitely friggin' higher than moon level.
All right. Let's go to good old versus battle here. Let's look at what they have for. Oh, they don't even have. I remember seeing.
No.
Here, one sec. I need to look up Shinra Moon Kick Calc.
Yeah, there was actually a good calc for it. I know.
Oh, here it is. No, that's not it.
There
his kicks. No, I saw someone.
Wait. Go back.
No, this is all fiction. It's the downgrade.
Wait, no. Yeah, no. Go back to that first one, because like there was actually a like they're talking about it being dwarf star level. There's the moon stops it with a kick. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to show them the versus battle one, because that one says it's small planetary. So there's at least two calcs that I've seen where it's either said, like right here, it either says like at a low end it's large planet level, and the other one says it's small planetary. So
no, it would be higher than like it would most likely be large, like higher than large or something. Like,
so no, him kicking the moon is not just moon level. Like, sorry.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, because a lot of people tend to like miss this, right? Like fairies' actual ability works by like manipulating the mass or the gravity of
Also,
objects, right?
curious, he says his Shinra's AP is universal, but if Sho's abilities is just a hacks, then how is he universal?
Uh-huh.
How are you justifying universal if you don't
If he
think,
thinks it's just a hacks, yeah.
yeah, if you think it's just a hacks, like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro, like you're just wrong.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, like his Show's ability does just scale to his durability. Like it's blatantly shown that he's able to withstand like the same heat, right? And like the just the heat itself when he's like actually taking it from the universe's expansion. Like he's just actually withstanding that amount of heat, which is comparable to the Big Bang, right? So
Okay. Also, I remember someone actually showing me in my server. I remember tagging you in it a while ago. That let's see. Let's see. I think we're getting close to that. Oh yeah. So, this was made by a guy that's called Serpa, and this is
wait,
another.
we can't see it's still on.
You can't see it, but it's like they can. It's the here, just go to Discord and go back to where it's I'll read it off anyway. So he says this scan doesn't give Shinra immeasurable speed since traveling back in time is only an FTL feat. Which again, this claim is getting backed up by him turning into particles once he reaches the speed of light and goes to original form when he gets faster. So, and as we know, nothing with the speed of light can have mass, so that explains his body resolving in particles. So, because the quality is in 4. Nate, I don't know how to like change the quality of the stream. Like, I literally don't know how. So, I'm just reading it off for people, just in case they can't see. Wait, can you see it? Are you looking at it, Kosu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've already addressed this many times, but just because it states that, like, him moving at FTL speeds causes him to travel backwards in time, that does not mean he is just now only capable of, like, again, what it means to go at FTL speeds. Again, when we refer to someone being FTL in fiction, we're literally just saying that they're able to go this fast, like faster than 300 million meters per second.
Yeah. Okay. He goes on to say, like, he like explains time dilation as if it like contradicts anything.
Yeah.
Like it's not. So, hold on. What does he even say about that?
These articles describe what is. It's essentially the notion as we get closer and closer to the speed of light, time slows down for us, or we experience time passing by less and less than people not moving at such speeds, which is true.
Yeah, that's fine, and that does happen, right? But it doesn't contradict him going into the actual past, right?
Yeah.
Like we do just see him like being able to do that, right? And if a fictional verse allows for this to be the case, then it just is, right?
Yeah.
And
so
that's how we establish.
Right.
Yeah.
And essentially, if a character is going at FTL speeds while not traveling backwards in time, then guess what, bro? That just means that whatever it takes to reach whatever their state of light is, or whatever it takes to reach the Planck constant, where they would require infinite mass in order to actually travel at such speeds, then that means that they're not immeasurable. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, again, and this is kind of a similar situation with like Flash, right? I mean, there is a qualifier, there is a warranting speed that you need to surpass in order for you to like travel to different time periods via the Speed Force, right? This is really not any different than what Shinra is doing, right? He exceeds the speed of light and then is able to travel through different time periods.
Mm-hmm.
So that means his FTL travel is just constitutes as an immeasurable feat for him, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously that can't be said for other characters who are FTL or who are MFTL or whatever, right? Like, we can't just say, well, Goku's now immeasurable, right? Because he has MFTL speeds, right? Or Naruto has FTL speeds, so he's immeasurable, right? Via the same logic, because we have feats for Shinra and his speed to interact with time in that way, right?
Ooh.
Like, this just allows for characters like in Shinra's case, or even in Flash's case, like their FTL travel just constitutes as immeasurable. That's just something that we like accept as like a thing, right?
Alrighty. Now this will probably be what I mentioned to be the last thing we're gonna be mentioning. A few things. So first off, let's make fun of Versus Battle Wiki while it's like we've already been talking about a bit about Versus Battle Wiki. Now it's time to make fun of them a little bit. Now this was on a thread where they're trying to upgrade Shinra to being universal. And originally they're like, oh, let's wait 2 weeks before we actually say anything, like, because that's when the manga ends. And this is basically after the manga ended, and they're like, so Shinra altering the appearance of the sun doesn't really seem like an attack potency feat, in all honesty. Now, I don't think anyone ever said that that's what qualifies for that.
Yeah, no one said it was. Like,
No, I don't think anyone has ever stated that him being capable of that. And it's like, it just seems weird to try to say that Shinra is like, who's already universal during the show fight when he has grace, and then later on he doesn't need grace to go that fast or be that powerful. Like, he's already universal plus at that point.
yeah.
So why do you need this to like prove any?
The altering the appearance of the sun feed is just like concept manip. If anything, it's just a hacks. Like, it's really not like nobody's saying it's nobody's saying it's attack potency. I don't know where he's getting that from.
But the real kicker is this one. Although this may be controversial, but I'll post it now since it occurred to me. Since we're indisputably in the world of Soul Eater, which is correct, then the moon in the Great Cataclysm arc, which very lowers, is that how you pronounce his name?
Barry, yeah.
Barry, yeah. Lowers, which very lowers towards the ground, is the same moon in Soul Eater, which is obviously much smaller than our own moon.
That's just like it's actually just backwards, by the way. That's what's funny.
Here, you want to explain what Fury's ability is real quick?
Yeah, so what Fairy does, right, like I was mentioning earlier, is that he manipulates the matter or the mass of like an object, right? So like when he's describing his ability to show, he uses an analogy of like a bowling ball on Earth, right? So his ability is he can manipulate the gravity and mass, right? So when he manipulates in his analogy, he can manipulate the bowling ball to have more mass than the Earth, which would attract the lesser or the body with the lesser mass, right? Via like universal law of gravitation. So with that being said, he uses the analogy of Earth being attracted to the bowling ball because he's able to manipulate the bowling ball to have more mass, which is directly what's being shown with the moon. As he's like raising his hands up into the sky, right? And he's manipulating the moon, right? He's just manipulating it to have more mass than the Earth so the Earth can fall upwards, right? And like, again, this is blatantly stated in his analogy where he's like, it's even possible to make things fall to the sky, right? So yeah, the moon that's shown there just has more mass than the Earth.
Man, it's just so cogs which involve the same moon can't be used for our real moon. Yeah, it just would be even bigger. All right, now there's this other one that we want to like just mention.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to say here. How do we want to start this off? You want to just
so this was like this morning. This guy just like comments or whatever, right? And he was like, you can't debate good debaters on your outer Shinra, right? And I was just like, yeah, I mean, like I've never had a good debater come to me with contentions, right? And I put quote unquote good, right? Because like who gives a crap, bro? Like what do you consider a good debater, right? Like that didn't matter to me. And I was just like, yeah, most good debaters just agree with me. And he was like talking about, oh dog, all you said was they didn't read versus Battle Wiki, right? And the first thing that came to mind was like a lot of my comments kept saying things like, you need to prove that Fire Force has an infinitely layered hierarchy or an infinite layered like dimensional structure in order for him to qualify for outer, which is just blatantly wrong, right? Because for you guys who use versus Battle Wiki, personally, I don't really use it anymore, but I still know the verbiage that they use, right? They even state in their own outer versal tier that you don't like the versus cosmology does not need to have an infinitely layered dimensional structure, right? If the character is just blatantly shown to surpass like the actual concept itself of dimensionality as a whole, then it would just qualify for the tier, right? It just has to be left obvious, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't the quantification for the dimensional structure doesn't really matter if you just are transcendent of the concept. So that's at least the first thought I was thinking. And then he like goes on to like post some other things. I don't know if you grabbed that screenshot or not of like basically he didn't watch the video. Right? This one video. Yeah. So
well, I didn't even watch the video. Shit's too long, but I was told it was bad. What?
Yeah. He was told it was bad.
The max like until just recently, like TikTok was extended to 10 minutes. The max back then for what TikTok videos could be in terms of length was 3 minutes. How was that too long?
like that it's too long, bro. Like how long is your attention span?
Dude,
like
that just tells me your intent. How like I'm just doubting that one you even had the patience to even sit down and read a manga, bro. Or even watch a whole episode. You think that 3 minutes is too much of your time wasted. Like, also, you're appealing to other people telling you whether or not something is bad in order to watch it. Like, even if someone told me that, say for instance, Swag Kage made a video and it was bad, right? Or that, like, oh, this MatPat made a really bad, like, Five Nights at Freddy's theory video. I'm not gonna take their word for it, because I would rather judge that for myself and use my own, like, knowledge and reasoning to determine whether or not something is quote-unquote bad, right? Because who knows, maybe our opinions vary in terms of, like, what we consider bad, or... Because what you consider bad may be fine for me, right? Or what you may consider be fine, I think is bad. Like, so, because of the vagueness of the words good, fine, and bad being, it's not enough to convince me whether or not I should just immediately judge something based off of what other people say. Not to mention, what most people think is not always true. Like, unfortunately, that's just how the world works, and where not everything is of democracy, where if like the majority just thinks that this is the case, then it has to be like because guess what, people, like, unfortunately I'm gonna have to bring this up. There was a time and place where racism and slavery were acceptable by most people. So are we just gonna say that because the majority back then thought it was okay, that we're just gonna say that it's now that like
it was right.
it was
you
right
know?
back then? Like it was just never right to begin with. Like we're just happy and glad to live in a time where we don't have to say that where we now condemn that stuff and we realize that stuff is wrong.
Yeah.
Right. That's just
Yeah. It just like at the end of the day with this guy, like, again, no hate to this guy, you know. I'm sure he was just like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of justification he would have, but like, look, I'm just not going to sit there and just like be disrespectful to him. Just don't comment if you don't know, right? Like the first initial thing of him commenting, you know, you can't debate good debaters on the topic. Like, first of all, dude, what do you consider a good debater, right? For one, what's your metric that you're measuring like the value of a debater at? Two, like, you don't know me. Like, how do you know I haven't debated people who are actually competent to try and refute the scale? Like, I've had discussions with multiple people who are competent enough, right?
Yeah.
Who I deem as competent, and then like they agree with the scale, right? And I've worked with people, because this isn't even exclusively my scale. It's Nairobi scale, right?
Yeah.
Like we both worked on this scale together, and like I did a video for it, right? Like he's one of the most competent people I've met in the community, and like I've verified this with multiple other competent like scalers, right, in the community, and we all just genuinely agree to this like scale. I like, again, who do you determine as someone who's good? And like, sure, have them join my server and we can talk about it. Like, yeah. I'm not afraid of people, bro. Like,
you know, and also,
I'm not ducking
like,
or avoiding people.
my bigger, like, one of the bigger issues is like, it's just how hostile he's being with the entire thing. It's just like, you just haven't actually talked to like the good debaters in the community, and it's just like, bro, if like, it's just the level of toxicity that's like, oh, you just haven't talked to the right person and everything, and it's just like everything is just a competition, especially with this whole thing. It's like, man, we're just talking about fictional characters, man. Like, if you want to come and discuss things with us, like, that's the other thing, like, that, like, Clothespin I've seen he has to deal with a lot, is that people just come in and are immediately aggressive with him because they're judging him based off of his opinions. But instead of just having a conversation about what they disagree on and what their opinions are and trying to come to a consensus or conceding, like, they just immediately come out and just be like, oh, you're just so stupid, bro. How could you think that Gojo beats Goku? Or it's like, how could you think that Shinra is outer Urso, man? Like, I just don't believe it. It's like, all right. So the very last thing we're going to watch, and this would be the very last thing. This is something that 02 sent me, is he said it's like a 10-minute video, and this is just scaling how strong the Evangelist is.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. And I made sure to tell people that it can't just be stuff we're always just going to be agreeing with. Otherwise, it's just going to be a boring stream. So,
yeah.
He did send this to me knowing we would, so.
Yeah. So I know I haven't done a Fire Force video in quite a long time right now. And to be completely honest, I don't really know why I don't cover more Fire Force.
Wait, who is this guy?
On the channel.
Because sounds familiar.
Someone called Far Cure. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
I'm also, at the same time, I'm going to I'm just going to speed up the video real quick.
This Fire Force actually does pretty well on the channel. I mean, all the Fire Force videos I've put out has done that I used on some occasions, depending on how you guys like this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about how strong the Evangelist is in Fire Force. And we're going to be kind of talking about what exactly the Evangelist list is and what what it might do in the future of Fire Force. Since we know that Fire Force is kind of coming to an end, I feel like it'll apart from that, this video will be containing manga spoilers, so if you're anime only, then I suggest you don't watch this video. But if you still want to watch this video, then by all means go ahead and watch it, because I feel it has been a mystery even in the manga. Still, we haven't got too much more information about the Evangelist ever since I've started reading the manga, and I'm pretty much caught up at this point, and we still don't have that much information.
Wait, when was this made? October of 2021. So we're gonna take that into consideration. Wait, let's see.
I think that was before Shinra Bancho, man.
Okay. So let's see. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. What chapter of Fire Force came out October 2021? Release dates. Is this the...
Yep, keep going.
Oh wait, is this is this the anime? No.
No, those are chapters. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because there's definitely not hundreds of episodes yet. So.
Well, what's weird is that it's saying August 16th of 2022. That's why I'm confused. I'm trying to figure out. Does it say list of volumes? Okay, this might be different. Okay, 2018. Okay, so in Japan, it came out at least, and this was 276. And 276 was...
I think it was the Arthur fight? No, a little bit before the Arthur fight, I think.
This is before the Arthur fight. So this was way before Shinra Bancho Man, essentially.
Yeah.
At the very least. So we're going to take that into consideration going through with this video. So
about the Evangelist, but apart from that, that's enough talking from me. Let's just get into the damn video. Now, obviously, we know the Evangelist is a pretty mysterious character in the world of Fire Force. All we know about the Evangelist is that the Evangelist is pretty much the god figure of the Fire Force universe, and she's also regarded as the sun god, which I guess is kind of, it kind of does make sense since, we are in the world of Fire Force, and Fire Force is a very, as you can tell by the name, fire-oriented anime. The whole series is based around fire and these crazy superhuman firefighters fighting with fire powers. But, let's just get back on topic. Now, I kind of want to go over some of the abilities we know of the Evangelist so far and kind of go over, her background and everything to do with her in general. Now, first of all, let's start off with her background. Now, in the aftermath of the Great Cataclysm, the being emerged from the tear in space after Tempeh...
Man... Why? Why are you using a wiki?
Oh man,
Why?
Yeah, that's your first. That's like if you're. I guess it's for information, but like even then, it's like that. Even that can be kind of skewed.
Here's the weird thing, right? Oh my god, he does this for the entire video. He doesn't show, he only shows one manga panel.
Approached it, calling the Evangelist a god and begging for his happiness to be returned after the cataclysm took everything from him. With a smile, she used a bug to transform him into a demon infernal. She left him to venture into the Chinese peninsula.
Here's the problem, right, with trying to make a video on how strong the Evangelist was we already knew at that point, in October, that the Fire Force manga was ending. Soon. Very soon.
Yeah.
So why make a video on how strong the Evangelist was when this is why I did not immediately decide to make a Shinra video, because I wanted to wait until the manga ends so no new material comes out that ends up contradicting what I say in this video. And unfortunately, that's what this video is going to be subjected to. It's already at this point. like he almost can't really talk about the background because we barely know anything about the Evangelist at this point. Like,
and we actually see that this event actually links up with the Chinese Peninsula arc that we had in season 2 of Fire Force, and that arc was actually pretty good. We saw, you know, the backstory of the Demon Infernal, that, I mean, I guess kind of the first Demon Infernal. We saw the background to that, and we saw how the Evangelist also played a part in that as well. Now let's talk about, you know, some of the abilities we know of the Evangelist so far. Now, the Evangelist is a being that's capable of inhuman feats, such as being able to pass through the tear in space, causing countrywide earthquakes. Now, of course, this is going to be very important when talking about how strong the Evangelist is at the end of this video, because if you didn't know already, I'm not going to only talk about the Evangelist strength in the world of Fire Force, but I'm also going to talk about the Evangelist strength in terms of actual scaling terms. So that's pretty interesting to talk about, and we'll see my verdict at the end of the video. But we see
That's really not all that
being
interesting.
able to cause countrywide.
man, again, at this point we haven't fought. It's just so weird to me that he thinks that we know enough about the Evangelist that he's able to make a 10-minute, like a 90, like a 9-minute and 30-second video on everything regarding. And a lot of this was just filler. Like, he's barely talked about the Evangelist at all at this point. Like,
yeah, I
Wide
explained the Evangelist and Adola in 3 minutes. Like, it really didn't take that long.
Quakes is in itself pretty crazy. I mean, that means that the Evangelist is at the very least country level or continental level, and that's lowballing, you know, the Evangelist strength.
That's an extreme lowball. That's like a beyond
Also-
infinite lowball. Like,
also, for the people that haven't read the manga, here's the problem, dude. When you don't just... He doesn't cite evidence for anything. He just says right here... Now, we're not going to doubt that this is actually the case, right? But because he says...
Being that's capable of inhuman feats, such as being able to pass through the tear in space, causing countrywide earthquakes. Now, of course, this is going to be...
Yeah. Like, for people who don't know what Fire Force is, you're gonna want to actually present that evidence, bro. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna want to see that stuff.
Yeah.
Level, and that's lowballing, you know, the Evangelist strength. Wait, let's just carry on now. And blinding people that look at her directly.
Ugh, man.
Oh,
This
man.
is such a lazy video, man. That's what really bugs me about this. It's so
Yeah.
he's just taking screenshots of a wiki.
And reading them off on screen. Like,
Right.
look, if you... Let me just put this into perspective.
Oh,
like, if you did this...
Dude, he literally just read all... He literally read this word for word. Let's go back to this.
That's what I'm saying.
The Evangelist is a being that's capable of inhuman feats, such as being able to pass through the tear in space, causing countrywide earthquakes.
We know of the Evangelist so far. Now, the Evangelist is a being that's capable of inhuman feats, such as being able to pass through the tear in space, causing countrywide earthquakes. Now, of course, this...
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Put some effort into your videos. Like, don't make this lazy shit. Like, come on.
Look, I'm just saying, like, I don't know if this dude would ever watch this, like, stream or something, but, like, dude, if you brought these, like, wiki pages to a debate, you'd get laughed at, bro.
You would get laughed at, dude.
You'd get fucking... you'd get slammed, bro. Like,
dude,
that's a no-no.
Yeah, like, at least one of the things I do appreciate about the debating community is that we're constantly asking for evidence and proof, right? We don't take headcanon or just these random fan theories or whatever. It's like, oh, just like what you feel like. It's like, okay. It's like, whoa, drop the scan, right? Drop the scan that the Evangelist is capable of causing countrywide earthquakes. It's like, and then you just post this wiki shot of like saying, oh, well, they cited it as evidence. Like, okay, then just why bother citing the wiki if they already have the citation? Like, just go to the citation.
Yeah.
Don't even bother citing the wiki. Like,
Link are capable of forging a connection with the Evangelist, receiving something called grace. When under grace, people gain access to strange pyrokinetic abilities that are capable of unbelievable feats. We've seen all of these before. And
he literally just read off what the wiki said.
Literally.
Oh my god. It's one thing, like, look, if you're just reading off what the manga says, that's fine, right? Because you're just literally reading off what is given to us in the source material, but you're just reading off of what people are interpreting the abilities of the Evangelist, including like the Adult Link and when people are under grace.
Yeah.
So
generation where they are graced with a dollar's grace essentially. And if another uses these that are capable of unbelievable feats, we see, you know, we've seen all of these before, and now we all know what fourth generations are. Like, we all know what this is. If you're a Fire Force fan, then you should know what fourth generations are. Fourth generations is basically a new generation where they are graced with a dollar's grace essentially. And
okay, no,
it's just a pyrokinetic with an Adola burst, bro.
That's literally, and like they literally only mentioned the term fourth generation one time in the entire series. They only mentioned fourth generation one time, and it's just a hypothetical fourth generation. Like,
yeah, like him saying like, if you're a Fire Force fan, you should know this. Like, bro, I can guarantee you a lot of people don't know what a fourth generation pyrokinetic is because it was just mentioned one time. You have to actually like note that down and be like, oh yeah, that's what, like, you know what I mean? Like, relax, bro.
If another user of the Adola Link manages to forge a connection with somebody under grace.
Oh, okay, so this is another one. I just might be something of an unprecedented fourth generation.
They also gain a fourth generation ability.
And she's just
however, the Evangelist seems to be able to rescind this grace as she sees fit, which means she can take away this grace at any time she sees fit. Now, of course, this is also very important because if she's able to give away ability.
Oh yeah. If she's the one giving and taking away people's grace, then, again, because Shinra is a third generation, and it's just like, they often define which generation you're from based off of what your abilities are. And grace is just giving you more access to being more powerful, like basically giving you like an amped to your abilities. And that's why Shinra was able to compete with Sho in his first fight, right?
Yeah, grace.
He was able to get grace.
Yeah, grace, like, is just like grace is just you being closer to Adola. That's that, because like a grace or a Adola link, it's all the same thing. Like when Sho has grace from the Evangelist, he's able to tap into more of Adola's power.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why people with an Adola link are typically more powerful.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's why some people are so obsessed with seeing, something I'm noticing when I'm reading Fire Force is that whenever, like, characters like Joker and Burns are using more of their powers, the part where, like, they lose one of... Because they lost their eye when they got their first Adola link, right? And their eyes start glowing with fire. Like burning hot red fire whenever they're like using way more of their power, right? And that was because they had an Adola link. And some characters are just so obsessed with seeing the adult of Adola again that they literally would do anything, even getting closer to death and fighting people with Adola links. So
yeah.
Abilities, we are also assuming she has these abilities as well. I mean, that's kind of common sense. I mean, if she's able to give these abilities, I mean, she can either use abilities far greater than this, well, use abilities far greater than what she's giving, or just use the abilities that she's giving to these people. Of course, like, that's kind of common sense. I mean, she can't really give abilities that she can't use, or, you know, use greater than the ability she's giving, if that makes sense to you guys. I know that's a lot of words to take in, but hopefully you guys are keeping up with me. Now, of course, if we're talking about the Evangelist strength in Fire Force, I would say the Evangelist strength is, I mean, she's pretty much the strongest character in her series, no doubt. I don't think there's anyone stronger than the Evangelist. Well, so far.
At the time, she was. Later on, definitely.
Nah, Benimaru just stomps.
Look. We're not gonna get into that here. We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that. Well, again, we don't know. Benimaru did not have the feats to compete with the Evangelist at this point, so we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that the Evangelist would be at this point. We know that she's the strongest. Later on, that is no longer the case.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not fully caught up with the Fire Force manga, but so far I don't think there's any character that could rival the Evangelist.
Wait, whoa. He's not fully caught up with the Fire Force manga? Then why the hell are you making a video?
Wait.
So far, I mean, I'm not fully caught up with the Fire Force manga.
I'm pretty sure he said something along the lines of he is, so that's why he felt like. So
Yeah,
you're just
I mean,
coming
no.
into this video admitting that you're uneducated about the series because you're not fully caught up. Dude, I'm so paranoid about whether or not I know what I'm talking about that I literally told Kosu, I'm like, we can't make the Shinra video yet because we gotta wait till Fire Force ends. And even when Fire Force ends, we can't make the video immediately because we gotta reread everything. Like,
Yeah.
we gotta make sure we know everything and really just note take certain stuff so that we make sure that the Shinra video is the Shinra video. Like, make sure that we're actually putting out stuff that we actually is going to stay there and it's not going to get contradicted and pretty much like thrown in the trash bin like this video is. This is just an admittedly uneducated video that didn't care about actually, like, it was just pure laziness. Like,
Yeah, man.
so far, I
You
don't
should have
think
done
Blink
better.
because okay, I admit that some like of my like more recent videos where it's just like my character sitting there with like a wavy background, like the editing is admittedly somewhat lazy, but at least me and Hashi put a lot of effort into our scripts, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what people come to my channel for, and that's what I really want to make sure is that the evidence and the research that I do is what's valued on my channel and not just for like my editing skills. So
that could rival the Evangelist. She's kind of like an omnipotent force in the world of Fire Force. I don't think anyone is going to oppose her.
Oh.
That's definitely not true anymore.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Hell, we literally just, there's literally a point where like when Shinra Bancho Man was fighting Hamea, who fused with the Evangelist, literally says, we're not even God. You're the closest thing to God.
Yeah. No, they just call him God. Yeah, they're just like, you are a god. Like, it's not even like a comparison. They blatantly even show it's just like, no, you're like the power you have. Yeah, that's of a god. Like,
you know, the closest thing to an omnipotent character in Fire Force is Death, who Shinra manifested. Like,
yeah, Shinra created an absolute being.
Yeah, an absolute being who was like a supreme god. Like,
in a full-on fight anytime soon. I feel like the Evangelist is just kind of this one above all that looks over the Fire Force world. I guess she is kind of an antagonist in a way. I'm not.
Also, something else we eventually learn about the Evangelist is that she was created by the thoughts of humanity via the collective unconscious. So it was because of humanity that she even exists in the first place. So
yeah.
While she does overlook it, she has her own ulterior motives and everything. So, and is like then seen manipulating humanity to lead, like, to eventually succumb to death and lead to despair.
Yeah.
Not too sure right now because the Evangelist, although she's being portrayed as kind of the antagonist, she's just kind of the person that the White Clad are kind of worshipping. It's not very clear that she's on one side, although it's kind of...
They're not just worshipping her, they're working for her. They're like directly just like gaining power from her and literally fulfilling her goal. It's not like just some religion, right?
Yeah, she created all religion.
Like they literally, like, she created all religion. She literally injected them with the ideas of Jesus and Christianity and multiple gods. Like, she literally manipulated the minds of all humanity. And that's why multiple religions existed. And that eventually, after the Great Cataclysm, they all eventually turn to the Sol, the sun god. Like,
yeah. Because, what's his face? Yona literally made them believe in the sun god.
Yeah.
Which is the Evangelist. Yeah. Yeah. That's, I don't know. It's funny.
Implying that she's kind of the villain of the series, but I feel like there's still more to the Evangelist that we still do not know. Of course, I do still believe that she is basically still a villain. I just don't think that she's a clear-cut villain as much as we. How strong do I think the Evangelist is in proper scaling?
What was that? Did you see that? That was
The
even
what?
me pausing. Like, look at this. Like, just it's like an error in editing.
that she's
It's
kind
a
of the
nitpick,
villain of
but,
the
like,
series. But I feel like there's still more to the Evangelist that we still do not know. Of course, I do still believe that she is basically still a villain. I just don't think that she's a clear-cut villain as much as we, How strong do I think the Evangelist
What?
is?
Whoa, what the?
Like, he stutters and then just like it cuts to like a random clip. Like,
In
Yeah, that
proper
clip
stated
is from
terms.
the intro.
yeah. Oh man.
Now, from what we've seen so far, or from what I've seen so far in the Fire Force manga and anime, and what I've read out to you guys, I would say that the Evangelist is probably like a planetary level threat. I mean, she's planetary level. I mean,
Wait, why?
You just stated, okay, like, even if you wanted to believe they were omnipotent, why are they only planetary?
Well, here's the thing, right? All you've stated that what she's done so far is create massive massive continental earthquakes. How is she planetary? Like, how did you just make that random jump? Like, let's go to the attack potency page real quick. And let's learn how big of a jump it is just to go from continental to planetary. So, continental right here. And then planetary is all the way down here. So, let's see. So, it's already from continental to multi-continental. It's over a 6,600 times difference. And then from multi-continental to moon is a little over 14 times. Then to moon to small planet is 137 times difference. And then planetary, like from small planet to planetary, is 45 times difference. This is a huge jump, bro. Like, it's absolutely massive. How do you just go from continental earthquakes to then just like, oh, she's planetary? Like, what are you on about, bro? Like,
Yeah,
at least, like, here's the thing, right? This is where, like, technically, it's like, it's like, okay, if you're gonna say the Evangelist, is planetary, okay, why? It's like, well, she does continental earthquakes, and therefore she's planetary. It's like, wait, how did you get there? It's like, even though we would agree that she is capable of destroying a planet, via that line of reasoning, that shouldn't be the case at all. Like, I don't know how you just randomly jumped all the way from there. And he's using Versus Battle Wiki. He should know this. Like, how big of a jump this is. Like, it's already a huge jump to get from continental to moon. Not even, like, let alone continental to planetary. Like, jeez, man. Like,
yeah, it's a huge
she's
jump.
pretty much an omnipotent and omniscient force in the world of Fire Force. So I mean, we have to use that as kind of the evidence to see how strong she is, and we know that just her.
You haven't provided any evidence.
There's no evidence. You literally provided absolutely zero. That's what we're getting on.
We have to use this explanation that we have as evidence. This wiki page. Like, bro, like.
Yeah.
Which is, can create earthquakes or create, like, shatters or shakes in the ground or Fire Force. So that in itself is also pretty impressive. So I mean, the fact that she's doing all these things with such little effort kind of leads me to believe that, she is kind of a planetary level threat, since she's also.
Okay. Oh man, this is annoying me now. Because I'm an editor of my own videos, I can already tell. So
It's probably like a Evangelist is in.
He used this like line here. Wait a second.
He's being portrayed as kind of.
Is this just
the
my
antagonist.
shit? Like, this? Okay, this is just a problem with my thing, so it's not just his. Okay, never mind. So we get all the way to here.
omniscient force in the world of Fire Force. So I mean, we have to use that as kind of the evidence to see how strong she is. And we
An
know that just her
omniscient.
appearing just can create earthquakes.
Well, part of her is
on shatters or shakes in the.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was, we would all agree that so far, all of the feats that Saitama has done is very low effort. Like, that is pretty evident. All of the feats that he has performed so far in his own series have been low effort. Yeah. Do we just say that because he's demonstrated planetary, like, low feats with low effort, that he should just be star level? Like, no. Like, just based off that line of reasoning, no. You don't just randomly jump because of how much effort they put into that. Like, we don't... If, like, what she has only done is that, we can't just randomly assert that, oh, because low effort, therefore planetary. Like, you need to, like, actually provide some level of evidence to actually jump up to that. Otherwise, you're just asserting that baselessly. Like...
Yeah.
The ground of Fire Force, so that in itself is also pretty impressive. So I mean, the fact that she's doing all these things with such little effort kind of leads me to believe that she is kind of a planetary level threat, since she's also kind of portrayed as this god, this one above all that is all powerful. Also, further kind of just backs up my point of her being like kind of planetary level. I would say this is kind of a vague estimate. I mean, she could be less than planetary level, but I'd say she's kind of relative to planetary.
You say vague, I say unsubstantiated. Like, yeah. You're just randomly asserting, again, that's like, oh, low effort, therefore planet. Like, that's what you're just saying.
Yeah. And she's around that area, if I should say. I mean, that's pretty much my verdict. I don't think she's going to be weaker than planetary. The Evangelist is pretty fucking strong in the world of Fire Force.
She isn't, but you haven't provided the evidence that she is that she's stronger than that.
Yeah, like, we agree. Like, I can flat out tell you she's out-reversal. But, like, I have all of the evidence in the world to provide such, not just wiki pages and a half-assed explanation.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of my verdict. I feel like the Evangelist in Fire Force, in the Fire Force universe, is the strongest, obviously. And in proper scaling terms, she's probably, like, planetary, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to put her. And tell me what you guys think in the comments below.
I think the video is kind of trash, buddy. Like,
oh, okay, so you said it was due to copyright that he had to, like, that some of it seemed like it was skipped, but this was so lazy. I'm glad it didn't do well, because this would just be like giving people the wrong idea of what you should be expecting from a video, like like that would be trying to explain how strong a character was. Like,
yeah, like,
this is pure laziness.
Like, I would just recommend him, actually going and researching, like, how to properly scale, and then how to properly, tier when using, like, even if you wanted to use versus Battle Wiki, whatever, like, learn how to actually tier it. And then just provide evidence, provide scans of, like, the actual manga of the feats displayed. Pay attention to the actual things that happen in the series. Don't just use wiki pages to substantiate your claims. Like, don't use other people's arguments for your own.
Okay. All right. I'll say, for like the next, like, 5 minutes or so, we'll just, like, be answering questions, and then we'll end the stream, so...
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll just change it for you. Just so you can see chat.
All right. Yeah, actually, that just helps, so that we can see them at the same time.
Yeah. So, for those who are still here, if you still have some questions that you want to ask, then shoot your shit.
Yeah.
Oh, someone asked earlier, does Fire Force being a prequel to Soul Eater change any scaling in Soul Eater? Potentially.
Yeah,
we would have to...
That's yet to be determined.
Yeah, that's yet to be determined yet, because we have to both read the entirety of Soul Eater. So
Yeah. How fast is Arthur? Arthur should be irrelevant speed, but like, if you didn't want to like really, I mean, like current Arthur, right? Like after the dragon fight, but before then he should just scale to Shinra as well, which would probably be like immeasurable like reaction combat speed. So
yeah. Like Arthur was able to best Shinra in combat, like when he was possessed.
yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. Here, someone's.
I saw someone comment earlier too about like where Shinra transcended concepts. He just scales to Adola, right? And like Adola contains and houses all concepts. So after Shinra lost pyrokinesis and can't use his Adola burst, how can he still have immeasurable speed after losing it? He would just have immeasurable combat speed, because we know him like prior would be able to react to people like Sho, right? Sho was able to react to Shinra's immeasurable speed at times during their fight, and we know that if they're able to combat each other on a relative level, his reaction to combat speed should still scale to that. You could probably say he can't travel through time anymore, right? But he still should have the combat and reaction speed to justify it. If a verse is stated to have the concept of time and space, whether by an author or a character, if a character scales to the verse, does that make this said character outer?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like if they scale to the verse's cosmology and the cosmology scales all the way up to outerversal, then yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We'll answer like 2 more questions and then we're gonna end this stream. Do you think the idea for Fire Force came from the phrase "fighting fire with fire"?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. They take it literally.
Yeah. I mean, some characters are literally like with the Adola burst. It's literally known as like the genesis or the primordial flame, like the origin of flame. So.
Yeah. This life is great. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, W Live. Appreciate it, bro.
Can you power scale mythologies like Hindu and Greek? That's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah. There's a lot you would have to
a lot of work.
That's a lot you have to get into, and honestly, they're not really that interesting enough that would warrant a video. Like, maybe if enough people ask me to do it, then I might consider it. I've honestly thought about doing like a funny video where it's just like I do composite Zeus, like Zeus and like in any other form of media, like versus Cthulhu. And it's like, would Zeus be able to take on Cthulhu? And I thought that would be a funny video.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. Would Benny and Arthur be outer? Yeah. Not only is there supporting evidence from Shinra stating it later on about Benimaru and Arthur, but like their feats should just scale them to that point. Because like Benimaru's like fight with his master's doppelganger moved Adola, like physically moved Adola closer to the world, right?
Yeah.
Which is just an outer feat, like
yeah,
because he would just scale to it, and then Arthur,
Dragon is just literally the embodiment of the great cataclysm.
Yeah, so he's the driving force of it. Yeah, and Arthur just like snuffed him, like.
Yeah. So, and Benimaru literally just said if he wanted to, he could literally survive the great cataclysm, but he's choosing to go out and die with the rest of his village. So,
yeah,
Benimaru's just a Chad, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're just gonna end the stream there. Thank you all for coming. Do expect some more Fire Force content from this channel, and me and Kosu are going to be doing way more collabs in the futures, especially in regards to Fire Force content. Like, we're currently working on a Shinra video as of current, which is going to involve a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of reiterating of what we've said in this video, but a lot in a more professional and prepped sense. So, like, all of this was just on the top of our dome, mostly, so, yeah. But anyway, thank you all for coming to the stream. Someone said, when will you be live again? I will just make an announcement if I plan on live streaming again. But until then, thank you all for watching, and class is dismissed.